Hello, Gemini. Thank you very much for tuning into your love read. For the main part of the read, I'm using Witch's Tarot by Ellen Dugan. For supportive oracle cards, Wisdom of the House of Night. And here's who it's by right above my finger, so I don't butcher that to death. But if you look up the name of the cards, the Wisdom of the House of Night, you should find them quite easily. Okay. We're going to do relationship first, single second. Oracle cards come out where needed. I don't know why, but I feel like I gotta do this. So there we go. Excuse me. A little bit of bubbly going on here. It's okay. For Gemini, I do feel like this is like a lot's going on with your partner is what I'm getting. You seem to be doing better in the sense of like you seem a little bit more grounded or a little bit more stable at the moment. Something's going on with them. They have the shadow side, which is reminiscent of the devil card in most decks. I feel like there's a bad moment happening here for them. They're not doing well. Something is kind of having a problem. Something is not going the way they thought it would. They're feeling like they're going to fail. Almost like somebody's pointing out their shortcomings. They're having a hard time. They're having a real hard time here with the shadow side. And I'm getting here, confidence is definitely an issue. Now I'm seeing this here with this card. The House of Night has confidence here. But I feel like it's just kind of them realizing their own beauty and realizing that the situation, these things happen. And things are not perfect. The fact that, maybe they didn't handle something the textbook way, they did the best they could. They didn't expect to end up in the position they're in right now. And I feel like they just got to take a grain of salt, kind of like everybody's human. Life happens. Sometimes mistakes happen because better things result as a result of mistakes. Like, you fix something and things are better than they were to begin with. So they're going through this, and I feel like they're going to be in this for a while, just to be fair. They got the Hanged Man, here's where they're heading. They're having a hard time sorting out this mess. It's a mess, there's a problem, they're not feeling very confident. It's coming to terms with what happened. It's lingering on. And one of the problems they're also having is the is it the 5 or 4? The 4 of Cups, that makes more sense. Because like the way this looks, it doesn't feel like the 5 of Cups. They keep wishing it worked out differently. And I feel like they're wishing it was this way. They're wishing it worked out better. They're wishing they made different decisions. I feel like a very wish feel. I wish I did this. I wish I handled it that way. I feel like it's very retroactive, like if I had just done this differently or if I could have just done that differently. It's not like the 6 of Cups is usually, or is it six? Yeah, the 6 of Cups is usually the history card, but this feels more like it's discontent with the way things worked out. And just kind of like if I had known or if I just made different choices or better choices, I wouldn't be dealing with what I am right now. I just feel like they're constantly going over and beating themselves up about what happened and how it played out and what happened and how it played out. And if I had done this, how this would have worked, and how if I had done that, how that would have worked. It just feels like a yo-yo, not fun moment. The challenge for them, and I do see, this is going to hold on for a while. I just don't feel like there's a way to get past this. But the challenge for them is to get that Ace of Wands. And the listening card is right here too. I feel like they just got to be receptive to the change. They got to be receptive to what didn't work out. And they got to be more open to moving on from it. Just owning up to it. This is the decision I made. Didn't realize it was going to play out like this. I realize it's not the best decision I made. I wish I'd done this instead. I do feel like that's a factor. They have to look back on it. They have to audit it a little bit. This is what I did. This is what I'd rather have done now that I know what I know. And then they got to just get a hold of this Ace of Wands and just step into the future. It's not going to happen quickly is what I'm getting. It does not feel like it's going to happen quickly. But what I do see, your support in this situation, there you got like 3 cards really pulling in at once. You got the Nine of Wands, the Nine of Pentacles, no, yeah, Nine of Wands, Nine of Pentacles, and then the Three of Pentacles. I'm seeing you have to talk with your partner a bit about this. Depending on the situation, you're going to do what you can to help them. That's the Three of Pentacles. And I feel like you're working with them. You're trying to pull them up is what I'm trying to get to, is what I think this is going for. This is like you're trying to pull this up. But with these two cards here, it's like you're telling them, like, you're not everything you do is wrong. And you can't look at it that way. And I feel like you're trying to remind them, like, listen, life has pitfalls. This Superman mentality, Superwoman mentality, Wonder Woman, Wonder Man, whatever you want to call, this superhero mentality does not happen. People make mistakes, but we're supposed to. It's picking yourself up from it. And I feel like you constantly have to stand the ground there with the Nine of Wands saying, listen, stop slumping back, stop feeling bad about things. Life happens. You do a lot of good. You're not going to be perfect. Sometimes big mistakes happen. This happens to the best of us. It will always happen. And I feel like you're constantly working with them, trying to keep them from backsliding, kind of like, get yourself together, stand up, straighten yourself up, and let's just deal with it. Just deal with it so we can move on from it. Look at it. What did you do wrong? What would you have rather have done? Once you've decided what you would rather have done, okay, let it go. Let's move on. Gemini is great for seeing a lot of different angles. And I feel like you can play this both ways. Where are we going with this? So I feel like you can look at this one way and kind of say, you know what, I see why you made the decision. I see where you had a chance to make a different decision. That's true. But I can see where the decision you made, it did play out bad, but it could have played out better. You could have made a different decision. It could have turned out even worse than it did. And I feel like you can give a lot of different angles. Like, I feel like you're not trying to confuse your partner, but saying, you know what, there was so many random factors here. You had no idea how this was actually going to play out. And you need to accept that, you know what, not everything's in your control, and it just played out the way it did. You do your best with what's in front of you. And I feel like you can give like these other options. Like, it feels a little nervous to me, kind of like you got to be careful how you present it, but just basically putting out there, you made the best decision you could for the moment. And there was these other factors at play. Maybe this was weighing in on them. Maybe they were dealing with this problem and that problem at the same time. And yeah, they didn't make the best decision, but there's a reason they didn't make the best decision, because they were torn in so many different directions. And maybe that's what you have to point out to them. And you're like, you know what? You learned this time, for the next time something like this comes around, and things always come around again, you'll make a better decision. It's just, I feel like the most work you're doing is trying to pull them up and kind of like, you know what? Just empower yourself. Mistakes happen, but now that you've made it, you've learned, and you're going to move forward, and you're going to try again. I got to be honest, it's kind of swimming in my head about how many ways you're going to have to talk about this, because you're going to have to talk about this in a few different directions for them. But you do empower your partner. You create this 10 of Cups for them. I feel you creating this because you're kind of like, this is why. You had all these things going on, and I feel like you have so many different ways of looking at the situation. You can show them things they did not see. You can show them things they are not seeing currently. Your ability to see so many different angles, you wake them up to like, all right, yes, you made a bad decision. What else was going on at the time you were making this decision? Were you under the weather? Were there 3 other people harping at you at the same time? Were you worried about your mom? Was your mom sick too all at the same time when all of this was going on? So you're telling me you didn't feel well, you had 3 people harping on you, your mom didn't feel well, and you were worried about her, and you didn't miraculously make the best decision? Well, I really can't say I'm surprised. You had so much going on. You might have to say something like that. The Gemini energy, I feel like maybe I'm just saying it so that I understand it better, because I feel like you're kind of pointing out the obvious that just it doesn't seem obvious to them. To you, it's obvious. You're just kind of like, you had all this going on. Like, all of this was playing in on you. The fact that you didn't make the best decision, well, guess what? You're human. I don't know what you're expecting from yourself. You're human. Being under the weather, having these 3 people harp on you, and your mom being under the weather, and you're worried about that, or whoever, that's going to weigh on you. That's going to affect you. All right, so, again, I know we said this before with the Hanged Man, but I'm seeing this, the Knight of Swords on your side is telling me this isn't going to be like a one conversation. This is going to drag for a while, just to be fair. And they're saying that's your challenge card to realize you're going to constantly have to talk with your partner. It's not going to go away quickly. It's just, you're going to constantly have to talk to them. I feel like you're going to have moments where you're like, Am I just talking to a brick wall? Am I talking to a fence post because I feel like nobody's listening to what I'm telling you? I feel like you're not hearing me. I'm trying to point out this, that, and the other thing. And I feel like you might get a little exhausted, like I'm telling you and I'm telling you. They're kind of in a little bit of a moment here, so it's going to take some time, but the more you keep talking, the more you keep reiterating, it will sink in. I mean, it will make it a good effect, because ironically, you constantly going at them and constantly trying to help them, that's where this is coming in. This is what makes things better. They get a lot of strength from you, a lot of strength from the love, and the fact that you keep going over this with them, you keep trying to help them, and you keep pointing things out. It's almost like it really boosts their confidence after a while. It really strengthens their emotions. It strengthens their confidence. Confidence is here. But it takes a while for them to sink in, for it to really sink in for them. He, she, they, whatever they may be. Because they feel like they have to hear it a few times. They hear you the first time, and the second time, third time, possibly the fourth. They do hear you. But it takes them a while to really believe it. They believe you're telling them the truth. They believe that's the way you see it. So they believe that you're telling them the truth and how you feel. But for them to believe it on the inside that that's how it actually is, it takes them for a while to be convinced that, you're right. But it does work out. It does work out. And I see, what helps you is, once, I don't see this being a hard thing for Gemini. For most Geminis, I feel like this is fairly easy. Once the situation is rectified, once your partner, gets themselves up and moves on, and they take hold of the situation and it's literally moved on, I feel like once they're done, you drop it and you let it go. You're just like, okay, fine. I don't see this fettering you or bothering you, I don't see this bothering you, the fact that it took you a while to get through to them after the fact. While it's happening, it could be like, oh my Lord, really? Can you just listen to me? But once it's said and done, I feel like, yep, at least it's better now. And I just see you kind of sailing away from it. Let's leave that problem in the past. I got other things to do now. I feel like that's good. All right, so this is going to work out. All right, so that's what we have for Geminis and relationships. What do we have for single Geminis is a good question. Let's get into that one. What do we have for single Geminis? Yeah, I think I'm going to do the tarot cards first. Let's do those. I don't know why I was kind of ambivalent about it for a second there. What do we have for single Geminis? What options do they have in front of them? What would serve them the best? What would serve them the best? Of the options they have in front of them, what would serve them the best? What would serve them the best? You got the wheel here. Gemini singles, yeah? Okay. Let's shuffle the House of Night cards here. I kind of get this whole break the egg to make the omelet feel kind of like, for something really beautiful and worthwhile, it may take a bit of effort to make it actually happen. But, to have that accomplishment of a really beautiful relationship may take a little bit of work. There's one card here that I really don't care for, but we're going to see how it comes through. Just to be fair, I shouldn't judge a card because sometimes it comes through in different ways, but there's lack and feeling like there's nothing out there for you. The Five of Pentacles with the they're both fives, aren't they? With the Five of Swords, I feel like this is almost like one energy saying, there's just nothing out there that I want, and there's nothing that's really going to work for me. Dead end, 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 just no. Not feeling it. Just feeling like there's nothing out there. And that if you tried something or tried to make something happen, it would either fail or not be what you really want. Now, from what's going on right now, we are going back to the past. I feel like you've experienced something, and This is a relationship that is past, but is definitely affecting you. Something that seemed more restrictive. Something where you just felt like it was a good relationship, but it just got either got very boring and or very restrictive. And you just felt like it was monotonous. The love was there, but just the way life was, you weren't happy. You just felt very restricted. It got very boring, and either or, possibly both. So you moved on from that, whatever it was, or it moved on, whatever it was. But it seems to be weighing on you, and that's one of the things that's bothering you right now. Kind of like, I don't really want a very restrictive relationship, but I don't want one that I don't know what's going to happen from one day to the next either. I don't want it to be so wild and free that I just don't know where I really stand with somebody, but I don't want it so tight and restricted that I just feel like I'm tied to something like a slave. I don't want that either. So it's kind of like, I don't know. I don't see anything out there that's really going to fit me. Now, you do have the Empress at the bottom, and you do have the Death card at the top. While you're not seeing out there what you want, you definitely want something. And you're like, I don't want to be alone anymore, but like, I don't want to just settle for just anything, but I don't want to be alone. It's very kind of hard, I feel, because you're like, I really want to invest in somebody and be with somebody. I want them to stick with me, but I want enough play. I want enough, randomness that it keeps me excited. It keeps me engaged. It keeps me interested. And I'm ready for that to come in, but again, I don't want something so loose that I don't know where I stand. But I don't want it so restrictive that I'm just kind of like, oh Lord, I'm locked into this cage. So, somebody is coming towards you. There's a very weird energy coming in with it, by the way. The wheel's turning with the fledgling. The fledgling is kind of like a novice energy. Somebody who really... They don't know how the rules of the game really work yet. And this may be they don't understand you quite yet. I feel like the fledgling is like the way you live life and how you live life. It's going to take them a while to really understand it. They're trying to run ahead. They're trying to be a part of the situation. They seem to be very attracted to you, by the way. Very attracted to you. But they don't understand you. They just don't. At this point, they just don't get it. But they're trying to because they want to. They want to. That's the fledgling too. They want to understand. They want to have the answers. They want to know exactly what's going on. They want to run ahead and get ahead of the game. This is kind of like that student that keeps trying to do the extra credit so they can be the teacher fast. They want to know more than the teacher type feel. That type of feel. This person's coming towards you. Now this card isn't as bad as I thought it was, because this card, Deceit with the Six of Cups. Now, this person is trying to assimilate what they think you want. That's the problem. So that's a part of deceit. But I feel like more to the point, I feel like you're seeing this person and you're just kind of like, what are you doing? like that they're not on point. They seem very contradictory. They seem to keep changing direction. And changing direction isn't a problem for you, but like being contradictory, like saying, I don't like Brussels sprouts, I love Brussels sprouts. Like 1 minute they don't like Brussels sprouts, the next minute they love them. Like that's the type of contradictory you're not a fan of. You're either like, wait a minute here, like both of those that doesn't work. You can't hate something and love something equally. Like that doesn't make sense. Like you hate eating them, but then you love eating them. No, that doesn't make sense to me. And I feel like that's the deceit here. You're like, I don't know what this person is doing, but they make no sense. They're contradictory. They're contradicting themselves. I don't like this. But the Six of Cups here is kind of like, why? What's going on? Why are they doing this? You want to know why. I know that seems weird for the Six of Cups, but you don't know, where is this coming from? Are they just a bad connection? Are they a bad person? I guess. All right, there. I'll just say it. Are they a bad person because they're so contradictory? Like, are you just a liar? Are you just so full of crap that you don't even know your own? Like, And that's their first question, like, is this just a bad seed? Should I just stay away from this one? Or is there some reason behind this? The Six of Cups with this deceit, all this coming in, is kind of like, what is going on with this person? What else aren't they telling me? And you're wondering about their past. You are wondering about their past, and like, are they lying about something about their past? You're having a hard time believing them with anything at this point. The thing is, they're trying to impress you. They're trying to like what you like, and it's just, it's a mess. It's a mess. It really is. Now, this needs to straighten up and fly right. I do feel like this person has a chance with you, ironically. And I feel like a lot of you might get to this point like, well, I don't really have any time for liars, so I don't see how that would happen. You want to know why. At this point, though, you're kind of invested, like, why are they lying? Like, are they just, like, they just have to lie? Is it a compulsive lying situation? Or is there something else here? Gemini is very good, again, at seeing many angles. Like, why? You want to know the why. Like, why are they doing this? Why are they just talking out their butt? Why are they doing that? Now, Gemini is very smart. But Gemini, I don't usually see Gemini going directly towards a conflict. Not usually. That's my interpretation anyway. But what Gemini you will do to figure out a problem is, like, they'll come at it, they'll start a conversation at different angles at different times. For example, you could start talking about cake recipes and then get right into the nitty-gritty of what you want to know. Or you might start talking about something else that's completely unrelated, and then you bring it around to this. You just try to throw this person off so they're not expecting the question, and you'll throw the question in when you need to get an honest answer. Gemini is usually really smart about this. Like, they pull things out like that. At least how I've experienced them. And I'm getting the shadow side here with the Ten of Wands. The shadow side is very reminiscent for the Devil card in most decks. And I'm getting here, like, it's becoming this almost a little bit of an obsession. Because you're like, I have to know what the deal is here. It's like this person is like your own little personal mystery. It's like a puzzle. And you're just like, I gotta know what the problem is here. Are they really just a compulsive liar? Or is there a problem here? Why are they doing this? You seem to be almost like, really attracted to, like, what is the problem? Why are you doing this? It's almost like a little bit of an obsession. The wishing comes in with it. That's kind of where I'm getting the obsession from, just to be fair. The wishing is popping up right on it. You're like, you want to know what the deal is. What is the deal with this person? Why are they like this? They are very attractive to you, and I feel like that's a big piece of why you're going through this. You want this to be better than what it is. And it is, it is just kind of like pulling you forward. Like, it's a fun situation in a little ways. I don't know. You seem to, like, really want the answer, really want to figure it out. You're like, I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to figure out why this is happening. Like, if it just turns out that they're just a jerk, then they're just a jerk. But I feel like there's something else. Why are they doing this? What causes this? You got the Three of Pentacles coming up after this. Excuse me. You know what? I gotta say, this person just seems to be like they're luring you in. Something about them is really keeping your interest, and it's like it's becoming such a game in some way that you're starting to really invest. Over time, you're starting to invest. For a lot of you, and I'm careful about saying this, I feel like you might get trapped into a relationship that's really not that good. Because you're getting the Three of Pentacles here, like, you're going to keep working at this. And I just feel like from this very moment, and I feel like before this happens, especially if this is kind of like you've held on this long and you're questioning, why am I still watching this reading? Before this happens, you're going to be like, I wouldn't fall for that. I'm not going to go into that. But if you're still watching, this person is attractive enough, it just kind of like, it becomes a game. I'm telling you, be careful. Because if you find yourself realizing this person is a liar and you find yourself having the need to find out why, big red flag. Step away. Step away. And they got the Death card here because, like, yeah, you want something to come in, but, like, don't choose this. If you're finding this person is a liar, let them be a liar. Let it go. I'm getting let it go. Because I feel like something about them is enticing you, and you're giving yourself excuses to stick around to find out more information. You might end up stuck in a relationship you don't want to be in. It becomes addictive is what I'm getting. Be careful. See it for what it is. Once you see them as a liar, then they're a liar. Let it go. Let it go. Let the mystery go. All right, I think we're done. All right, I'm going to let that be. Hopefully that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you.